So let's say you have some significant capital to invest. You're past just getting advice, you want a professional to actually manage it all for you. Well, that's exactly where a portfolio manager steps in. Their whole job is to build and manage a personalized investment portfolio, constantly trying to minimize risk and maximize your returns. So what do they really do? And what rules do they have to play by? Let's dive in.
Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll nail down what a portfolio manager is. Then, we'll look at the different kinds of services they offer. We'll also get into what it takes to become one and the really important rules they have to follow. And finally, we'll break down how they get paid and what you, as the client, absolutely need to know.
Okay, first things first, what exactly is a portfolio manager, or PM, and where do they fit into this whole financial world?
Right, so the official SEBI definition is pretty specific. A portfolio manager is a body corporate, which just means it has to be an incorporated company, not some individual person. This company gets into a formal contract with you to either manage or advise on your investments. This is a big deal. It's not some informal agreement. They are very strictly regulated by SEBI under the 2020 regulations to make sure everything is professional and above board.
Now, not all portfolio management services, you'll hear it called PMS, are created equal. You can slice and dice them a few different ways, but the most important difference really comes down to who has the final say on where your money goes.
So these three main types all boil down to one simple question: who is in the driver's seat? With a discretionary service, you're basically handing over the keys. You give the PM full control to make all the investment decisions. With non-discretionary service, the PM will suggest a trade, but you have to give the thumbs up for every single one. And then there's advisory service, where the PM just gives you advice, you're the one who has to go and actually make the trades. It's all about how much control you want to keep.
Beyond that, you can also sort them by who's offering the service. Is it a huge asset management company, a brokerage house, or one of those smaller specialized boutiques? And you can also classify them by what they invest in, whether that's all equities, fixed income, or a mix of everything. So what does it actually take for a company to become a registered portfolio manager? Well, as you can probably guess, SEBI has a really tough process to make sure that only qualified, serious players get into this game.
Here are the big steps. First, like we said, the applicant has to be a proper company. Second, they've got to appoint qualified key people to run the show. Third, and this is a big one, they have to meet some pretty hefty financial requirements. And fourth, the company and its main people have to pass what's called the fit and proper test, which is basically SEBI checking for integrity and making sure they have a clean record.
Yeah, the quality of the team is absolutely non-negotiable. SECB insists on a principal officer, that's the person leading the investment strategy, and they need to have professional qualifications plus at least 5 years of solid experience. A dedicated compliance officer is also a must-have to make sure all the rules are being followed. And on top of that, they need at least one other employee with a relevant degree and 2 years of market experience.
And here it is, the big barrier to entry. Any company that wants to be a portfolio manager has to have a minimum net worth of 5 crore rupees. This isn't just some random number. Think of it as a financial stress test. SEBI needs to know the firm is financially solid, that it can handle market ups and downs, and that it's a serious, long-term player in the industry.
Okay, so once a company is registered, they have to live by a very strict set of rules. This isn't the Wild West, right? These regulations are all designed for one primary reason: to protect you, the investor.
Now, this next rule is really important because it defines who this service is for. A portfolio manager is not allowed to accept less than 50 lakh rupees from any client. This rule basically makes PMS a premium service. It's really intended for high net worth individuals who are, let's say, presumed to have a better grasp of the risks involved.
These are the duties that really build trust. First, they must act as a fiduciary. That's a legal term that means they have to, by law, always put your financial interests ahead of their own. Second, they have to segregate accounts. Your money never gets mixed with anyone else's. It's your own separate pot. Third, all your funds must be kept in a scheduled commercial bank for safety. And finally, they have to have a solid system for handling any client complaints quickly and fairly.
SEBI also draws some very clear lines in the sand about what a PM can and can't do. For example, they are generally not allowed to invest your money in super risky below investment grade securities. They can't borrow money or lend out your securities. And they absolutely, positively, cannot use your assets to benefit themselves in any way, shape, or form. The bottom line here is that these rules are all about managing risk and preventing any conflicts of interest.
All right, let's talk about the money. How do these portfolio managers actually get paid for what they do? Look, understanding the fee structure is absolutely crucial for any investor.
So there are really two main ways they charge. The first is a simple fixed cost. They'll just charge a flat percentage of the assets they're managing for you, say 1 or 2% a year, and it doesn't matter how the portfolio does. The second way is a performance-linked cost, which is basically a profit-sharing model. Here, the manager only makes a fee if they make you money, which gives them a pretty strong incentive to do well.
Now, to make sure those performance fees are fair, SEBI has a rule called the High Watermark Principle. This is a huge investor protection rule. What it means is you only pay a performance fee on new profits. If your portfolio's value drops, the manager gets paid nothing until it not only recovers, but also goes past its previous peak value. So you never ever pay for the same gains twice.
Let's just walk through an example to see how this works. Okay, year 1, your portfolio grows from 50 to 60 lakh. Great. A performance fee is charged on that 10 lakh gain. The new high watermark is now 60 lakh. Year 2, the market dips and your portfolio falls to 55 lakh. No fee is charged. Nothing. Year 3, it bounces back and grows to 65 lakh. Now the fee is charged only on the gain above the old high watermark. So on that 5 lakh gain from 60 to 65 lakh. See how that works?
And there's another layer of protection called the hurdle rate. This is a minimum return that the portfolio has to clear before any performance fee kicks in. So for example, if the hurdle rate is set at 8%, but the portfolio only returns 6%, you pay no performance fee. It's got to clear that hurdle first.
Finally, let's talk about transparency. When someone's managing your money, you need clear communication. And SEBI has some really strict rules about the information and access clients have to be given.
Before anything starts, there's a bunch of paperwork, and it's all for a very good reason. A formal written agreement has to be signed, but even more importantly, the PM must give you a detailed disclosure document. Think of this document as the rulebook for your relationship. It lays out all the services, the risks, the investment strategies, and every single fee, all in detail. This is absolutely a non-negotiable requirement. And in a big push to make things cheaper for investors, SEBI now requires all PMS providers to offer a direct plan. This just means you can go straight to the portfolio manager yourself without going through a distributor or some other intermediary. What's the main benefit? Well, you cut out the middleman's commission, and that can lead to lower overall costs for you.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of the absolute must-know points. Portfolio managers are regulated by SEBI and need a net worth of 5 crore rupees to even get started. They offer 3 main types of services: discretionary, non-discretionary, and advisory. The minimum amount you can invest is 50 lakh rupees. Their fees can be either fixed or based on performance, and, this is a big one, the high watermark principle is there to protect you from being charged unfair fees.
And that pretty much wraps up our deep dive. But as we finish, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Of all the rules and responsibilities we talked about, the fiduciary duty, keeping accounts separate, all the investment restrictions, which one of those do you think is the single most important for really truly protecting an investor's money? It's a question that really gets to the heart of what trust in the financial system is all about.